My name's Kathy. I work at the Hamilton East Public Library, and I'm also a master gardener in Hamilton County. I had some questions about color in my garden, so I've come here to the library to talk to Kris. Kris is an artist in the Ignite studio, and she's going to help me. So Kris, what can you tell me about the color wheel and how I might use color in my garden at home?
Yeah, so I think if we look sort of at our basic color wheel here, we've got different colors that all stem for our basic primary colors. So the basic primaries are yellow, blue, and red. So for instance, combining yellow and red, you would get this lovely orange color. Or if you combine yellow and blue, you get this nice green. So these colors that are formed by using the primaries, those are called secondary colors. And then even as you go further out, those are called tertiary colors. Those are your yellow greens, your red violets, and things like that. This image down here matches the color wheel that's up here. So you've got your lovely flowers in the different shades of color here. Next, I'm going to go to the back and show you sort of how to use contrasting colors to sort of make your garden pop.
Oh, that would be great, Kris. Thank you.
Sure. All right, so here we have sort of different color schemes. I'll start with the top. This is sort of our monochromatic color scheme. So you just take one color on the color wheel, that was red here. And so you see we've got sort of this pinky red, sort of this brighter fuchsia red, and then sort of this really light pink in the back. So these are all shades of red.
And I have to interrupt you. Oop, did you just see our guest that was climbing over the top? we just had somebody in our little color wheel, the little ladybug. Go ahead, Kris. Sorry.
Nice. And that ladybug would match with what we're talking about,
Exactly.
the monochromatic scheme here. So basically the second sort of category is analogous colors. Those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So for instance, we've got this red here, and then right next to the red is the purple. If you sort of look at the arrangement here, you've got those nice reds and purples that are really working well together. Another thing you can do with colors is sort of look to what's on the opposite side of the color wheel. So complementary colors are opposite of each other. So for instance, we have this red and green kind of complementary color scheme going on here. And if you look here, you'll notice this is sort of that dark purple, and this almost reads as yellow, and this is like sort of a bush. I'm sure Kathy knows a little bit more about what these are, but you can sort of see these colors are in nature. And then our last sort of color scheme is triatic. And so if you think again back to the primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, those would be something, those are triatic, so any of those colors would go well together. This scheme here is the secondary colors, so that's yellow, purple, and orange. And then if you see here, we have this lovely arrangement here in all of those colors. So these are just ways, different ways you can sort of arrange your color depending on what type of gardener you are and what you're interested in.
Well, that is so helpful, Kris. Thank you.
Sure.
I think I'm going to go out to the front of the Fisher's Library now and plant the planters and see if I can use what I've learned here when I choose the different plants to put in there. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has helped you learn about colors, and happy gardening to you. Here we are outside of the Fisher's Library. Now that we've learned a little bit about the color wheel and how colors can contrast, I wanted to show you some flowers that I just planted. So I decided to go with the contrast of this beautiful bright fuchsia color against the bright yellow of the marigold. I also have some portulaca, which is moss roses, that are going to cover this area with a beautiful yellow bloom. And you can see that I also chose a trailing plant that has that same purple that's in this plant and in the leaves of this. So all together, hopefully it will make a harmonious sort of color going. I've also put a surprise inside of this big planter. I'm sure you've heard the phrase thriller, chiller, and spiller. So the thriller is the plant that goes up like this. The chiller is the one that just kind of fills in the area, and the spiller is something that's going to trail over the edges. So in this one, no one knows it yet, but I've planted dwarf sunflowers in here. So if you're in the Fisher's Library, check us out 2 or 3 months from now, and hopefully our thriller will be some beautiful sunflowers growing up through the middle of this. Now, you've probably already planted your planters this year, but keep in mind that using the color wheel to design how you put your plants around your house can be very useful. You can go with all one color, but you can also use the contrast of using different sides of the color wheel to make a beautiful display of flowers at your own home.